These four pedals right here have pretty much got you covered for an alternative shoegaze sound whilst being affordable at the same time. I know that playing guitar is both ridiculously expensive and addictive, so it probably shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but one of the questions I get asked most here on the channel is, can I make an affordable alternative shoegaze pedal board? So here we have it. In today's video, we'll break down each of these four amazing pedals and I'll let you know why they're on this list, and then we'll hear them in action. Before we get into this, I just want to mention that although I'm saying they're affordable in the grand scheme of pedals and trying to get an overall sound, this does come in at about £350. That's for brand new pedals that I've looked at reputable stores in the UK, but I have had a look online at the used market and I reckon you can knock about another £100 off that. So for 250 quid, you could probably buy these all used. But I didn't want to mention that just in case that used market changes or it's different for you in a different country. I know for a fact that there's cheaper clones out there. Some of the Behringer stuff and the Joyo pedals look really good, but these four pedals, I think you're never going to want to sell them. They're going to be pedals that you pick up and they're just going to stay either in your board or in your pedal arsenal, ready to be used at any time. So to make a pedal setup that can do it all and isn't going to break the bank, I thought essentially you're going to need some sort of overdrive, some sort of distortion or fuzz, some modulation, and of course, if we're looking at playing shoegaze stuff, a reverb. And in terms of stacking them, I've gone with this. We've got overdrive first and then distortion, because it gives me the opportunity of stacking the overdrive into the distortion. Then next we have modulation, and then finally the reverb. Look, I know I've talked about this before, but sometimes in the shoegaze world, people will actually put their reverb before their distortion because they feel like it gives them a better sound. But for me, I've tried it a few times now and I honestly just don't get on with it that way. So in terms of this pedal board, the reverb is going to be at the end. But okay, I reckon it's time to get stuck into these pedals now. So first up is going to be the Harmonic Soul Food. This thing is what's known as a transparent overdrive. It's based on the Centaur Clon, which online is probably like between 5 and 7 grand now to buy, and nobody has that, and this is a great little pedal. Currently in the UK here, it's sitting online for £79, and I think that is a really good price for such a great pedal. Now, I've talked about this before on this channel, but not only is it like a transparent overdrive like it says, I actually think if you turn the gain up on this thing, you can get some pretty cool heavily overdriven sounds too. However, I really do like to use it on that dialed back kind of transparent sound, and actually if we pair it with a little bit of the chorus that we're looking at here and some reverb, it can give you some really cool Cocteau Twins type vibes. Okay, so I think that sounded pretty cool, and I know I was using some of the other pedals that we haven't actually talked about yet, but this is what this is about. It's about making a pedal board, so I wanted to just demo stuff together. So up next, we have the Distortion, and it's one of my favourite pedals of all time. It's the Proco Rat, and I've gone into a load of detail about this pedal and the background and stuff of it in a video that I made, comparing this to the DS1, which I also love, and you can watch that here. But anyway, this is the Proco Rat. Again, looking online, brand new, I found it for $74.99, but I'm sure you could pick one up secondhand a lot cheaper. The reason I love the Rat so much is not only because it sounds amazing, it's because of its versatility. Again, you can turn the distortion fairly low and it will give you a great distortion sound, but go right up and it's almost on the edge of being fuzzy. This thing is really good. And to show that it can kind of do a little bit of fuzz, I've played a bit of a rip of the Smashing Pumpkins, and obviously we know how well known Billy Corgan is for the Big Muff, so I thought if I could play something a little bit similar and it sounded great, then it would show you what it's capable of. Okay, so next up we have the modulation pedal, and in this case it's going to be a chorus. In my personal opinion, I think that chorus is the nicest sounding modulation, and I think it can actually sound modern, whereas a lot of other modulation pedals to me sound a bit stuck in the past. But anyway, I've chosen the Neo clone. I've covered this thing before, but actually it's just the brother of the small clone. Well, the little brother, because it's smaller, but basically it does exactly the same job and it's cheaper. Again, I found one online for £69 and you're getting a bulletproof, amazing pedal for that price. Okay, but moving on to the fourth and final pedal on this list, and it's something that I haven't mentioned on the channel before, and yet again it's another Electro Harmonics pedal. I'm not sponsored at all by them, I just think they make great pedals at a good price. It's going to be the Holy Grail. This thing's got 3 settings on it and then basically 1 reverb control. This isn't actually my pedal, it's Kieran, the other guitarist in my band, but the setting I've been using the most is the Hall setting. I think it sounds really awesome, the spring sounds great too, and you might already know, but the Flurb setting is almost unusable. That thing sounds terrible, I don't really even know why it's on the pedal. But those other 2 settings are really great. I've had my Strymon Blue Sky now for a while, which I really love, but that thing's like £300, and I managed to find this at the moment for £129 online, which I think for a brand new reverb is a really good price. Again, I'm sure in the second-hand market you can get this cheaper. I mean, there's one currently available here for £95, so this thing, yeah, you could probably get it for under £100, which is just truly an awesome pedal that you're not really ever going to need to upgrade from unless you do want the luxury of having more parameters and stuff, but it's a great sounding reverb and something that I would really recommend buying. But can it do shoegaze reverbs? Because I mentioned that this is both an alt rock and shoegaze board, and in my opinion, yes it can. On that Hall setting, I think this thing sounds absolutely awesome, and this is what I've done here. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm not claiming that these 4 pedals are the cheapest out there, but I think they are both affordable and can get you a really complete sound. Yeah, you could probably go and buy like a multi-effects unit, but for me, I just love collecting these things and I love being able to like physically turn the dials on them and stuff. I do actually want to just make a special mention to another pedal that I don't own anymore, and I wish I did because it would have actually definitely been on this list. It's the Mojo Mojo pedal by TC Electronics. That thing was a really good pedal, and I think you can actually pick them up for about £50. It sounded a little bit like the Earthquaker Plumes to me, but maybe with just slightly less functionality, and that's probably why I sold it. But having said that, I definitely could have gigged that thing, and I wish I had it here to demonstrate for you. But if my word means anything, and that's all you can afford in the overdrive section, I would definitely go for that thing. Is there any that you think I've missed? If so, let me know down in the comments and we'll have a chat about it. And then watch this video here next. And until next time, keep on making noises.